Welcome back to the Hemp Lucid Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Hudson. Today we have a really exciting guest today, Charles.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, of course, man. And so, Charles, let's see. I've known you for kind of a short period of time. Like my first introduction with you was through our mutual friend Ryan.
Yeah.
And then we did a combo session.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went, I don't know if you started traveling internationally or if that whole combo experience created some like weird energy.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But it was all in my perspective. It was a good experience, but
Yeah.
Where I was at the time.
So it's, yeah, we kind of went our separate ways for, I don't know, 6, 8, 7 months.
Yeah.
And then just over, maybe actually a little bit longer than that. But over the last maybe 4 months, we've kind of realigned and reconnected. And it's been great getting to know you. And I'm excited to have you on to, today really just want to talk about like your story. I think you have a very interesting story, particularly around just like health and wellness and your health journey and like the major kind of pillars of health and wellness that have helped you get to where you are today, you know, being a professional athlete, playing professional basketball overseas. If you could just give us like your story and we'll just kind of dive into those pillars that have made you who you are today.
Yeah, no, let's do it. And just to clarify, after the conversation, that was in the summer, and then I went back overseas to play too. So it was a natural separation.
All right.
Going back overseas. But yeah, I'm glad we're back in the line. With my experience, really has been with health and wellness. It's really been shaped by an early pursuit of trying to be great in basketball and in sport. As a young kid, you're out there playing and, eating your Hostess donuts. And, it's really cool to see the evolution because as a young kid, everything is just fuel, you don't really know any better.
Right.
And for me, I was born in West Africa, Ivory Coast. So it's just interesting, just to give a little bit more context. In Africa, obviously we have access to like, tropical fruits and stuff like that. Interestingly enough, with how things happened with, colonization and things like that, there was a lot more French influence and Western influence that came about. And you find, it's pretty ironic, but there's these, you tend to find, you see people selling fruits on the side of the road and stuff like that. But as kids, you almost you kind of identify other things as things that you want, like, because they're not accessible to everybody. And, just being able to go to a grocery store and buying like a candy bar, Kinder candy bar is like a luxury in Africa. So those types of things tend to be like what young kids want to eat and what they're attracted to, because it not only it tastes good, it's like not everybody has it.
Right.
And it's like, so, in a weird way, like as a young kid, we weren't just wired towards junk food because of like, we're seeing it on commercials and stuff like that. It's almost like a status thing.
Interesting.
And it's almost like as a way to like be a little bit different, like where you get outside of your day to day. You're like a French kid, or you're like you're getting Nutella on your bread, whereas like, so I think from an early age, I was kind of shaped around things that gave you access to like a different culture, and we'd watch movies from the States, and we would, we'd see McDonald's, the arches, and we would see, Burger King. Whether, I don't know, my brothers might have been watching Coming to America or whatever. You see fast food stuff. And so that to you, that's like, oh, that's like America. That's like, that's cool, like
that's
like,
heaven.
That's heaven, like
heaven on earth.
Fresh mangoes that are orange and just juicy. You can have that all the time. Like fresh pineapple, that's whatever. But it's like, but getting a burger, and it was cool because at a young age, like our parents would take us to get pizza in Ivory Coast or burgers, and it was just like, so that was like a magical experience, right? And you don't get to do it all the time. But so when I got to the States, man, it was like, and I wrote this in the nutrition book that I wrote, and it was the best part of the book. I talked about my experience, like coming to the States, and we landed in Chicago. And I don't remember if someone was coming to pick us up, but we went to McDonald's, and it was the first time.
Right from the airport?
Yeah, right from the airport.
Oh,
like, you want to talk about like welcome to America moment for a kid? Like, I mean, I still remember that experience to this day. I mean, the smell, and I like the Happy Meal toy, like even the Ronald McDonald Playhouse playing. Totally. So I was in heaven, and I think that kind of, to me, that's what being an American kid, like, kind of was about, you know what I mean? Like,
you made it.
Yeah, you made it, and it's like you're what you saw on TV. You eat at McDonald's. So that just kind of, from a food standpoint, health standpoint, my whole childhood was, obviously we'd eat great at home. My parents would cook real African food, but anytime like you get some candy, anytime you could, buy some honey buns and some, that was it. So in sports, that's junk food's like a big thing. It's like, on the back of the bus and stuff like that. So that was that was it for me.
Yeah, it seems like even still today, junk food and like professional sports is like very common.
Yeah,
which is just kind of strange.
Yeah, I think it's from the childhood. It's like those are accessible foods. You and your friends have a couple bucks. You share this. You buy these penny candies and all this, and it's kind of like, and when you watch TV, when we were watching TV as a kid, all those foods are always associated with like a bunch of kids playing together, running into someone's house, and it's like you're doing those activities anyway, so you get those, that kind of comes into your brain as like those are the foods that go with those activities.
Right.
Kool-Aid, kids are playing. And like,
totally.
So
totally.
It's amazing. The marketing and strategic programming is amazing because it works. And I think even professional athletes, I was playing professionally for a long time. Middle of the night, we stop on the road. As healthy as you are, you still want to get that snack to go back to the bus to talk with your buddies. And so that was what I was around. And when I got to BYU to play basketball, I remember I didn't know what major I wanted to study. So, I had the dumb idea of like, okay, what major could I focus on that will help me be a better basketball player and help me, because I want to play professionally. So I kind of looked around, and I kind of landed on exercise and wellness, and I was like, okay, it should be pretty simple and it would help me. And before the classes even started, I was walking through Legends Grill, and it's a place where the athletes eat on campus. And I was eating a burger maybe like an hour and a half before practice. And there was Professor Ron Hager. He knew who I was, and he was like, hey, why are you eating that? And I was like, I'm going to practice. Like, I got to eat. He's like, I was like, what? I was like, what's the matter with this? He's like, you're going to eat a burger and fries for practice? I was like, yeah. Okay. And that's all he said. And he just like walked away. So I was like, yo, why is this dude, interrupting? Like, I had never thought about food, like what I eat. I just thought, to me, I was like, eat whatever, eat as much as you want. Like, metabolism was crazy.
So up until college.
Yeah, up until college. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Eating all types of, random stuff. And then I knew he was a professor, so I went to the building and I saw like you see the professors.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to his office and I asked him. I was like, this was like maybe the next day or something, and I was like, and I saw it said it was like the faculty for exercise. I was like, okay, I might have him for one of those classes. So I said, I was like, hey, what was up with that? Like, because I was curious, right?
Right.
I was curious, and I was like, hey, why'd you say that about the burger? Like, what should I be eating? And then he kind of gave me like a 15-minute, spill on like, food and like what's important to eat, what's not important to eat, why he was concerned because why I'd eat a burger an hour for practice and the digestion and all that, and then you're gonna be out there playing hard and stuff. So that kind of like opened my eyes, and I ended up majoring in exercise wellness. He taught he taught health and chronic disease prevention.
Wow.
So it was a really awesome class. And I would actually go to his office like after every class or talk more because he had a lot of information. And so I would say he kind of got me started on that journey. He recommended a couple books, and then after that I went down the whole peanut butter and honey, the early, no red meat, turkey, you know what I'm saying? Like level 1, trying to be
for sure
conscious of what I'm eating. And,
right.
So that's kind of how it started for me. And then, I went from there.
And in that, just curious, in that class that you took, how much did they talk about food in that class?
So this was probably 2010, I would say. And I would say he talked quite a bit about food, more than I think at the time people were talking about food. It was he didn't eat much, and he was kind of pretty conscious of the times he ate. But they didn't talk too much about like what we should eat, as far as like they weren't going to like organic or like local and stuff, but we were talking a lot about the health and obesity trends, and maybe concepts that were like a little bit more general, such as like sugar intake, trans fats, stuff like that. Kind of what the science was at the time, as far as like what people were struggling with and why.
Interesting. When you first came over here, did your body change when you started eating the American diet?
So, interestingly enough, I do think there's like, and maybe, I don't know if there's studies behind it, but again, my parents are not very big people. My dad's probably 5'7", and my mom I think is like, my mom might be like 5'1" or 5'2".
Oh, wow.
So
interesting.
Yeah. So I do think I think like when you're living in Africa, it's like all that stuff we do here, like intermittent fasting, movement, all that health stuff, like being outside in the sun, not overeating. It's almost like just built in,
Right.
It's like almost just built in. Like you don't see people that are obese, and I'm not saying it's like good or bad the conditions that make, but I think even people that have like that do really well in Africa, I think culturally it's pretty much the same for everybody. People like eat when they're hungry.
Right.
There's not like a big breakfast culture. So I think like for kids who are like active that come over here and have like, it's not that we didn't have access to like a lot of food. It's just, it's not, we don't think of like, hey, we're going to wake up and have pancakes and eggs. It's like, you have that bigger meal during the day. People cook all day and then you have that big meal. But here it was just different. You had access to like more opportunities to eat and calories.
Oh, it's crazy.
And I do think that, I don't know, but I maybe it affected, my body and as a growing kid getting all those calories,
Mhm.
you know, maybe that affected me growing more or something, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Because I've heard some things that people say about like immigrants' kids that come here. It's almost like they feel like they end up, I don't know, you can't compare, but they think that it affects like their growth and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any studies around that, but
I don't know how you could prove it because you can't live the same life. But yeah.
Interesting. The fasting.
Yeah.
How integrated is fasting into your kind of your life currently?
Well, we're on our fast right now.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing the 7-day fast. So I never really fasted regularly, but I remember my last year in France, I had a broken or torn plantar fascia. It was the second time I tore it. And it was unexpected. But, the thing is, when you're in your mid-30s playing, it's great because you're still playing at a high level. But if you get one injury at that point, the recovery is a little bit different. And then also like how you're perceived is different, kind of like damaged goods.
Right.
So that was a lot like, whether it's in my head or not, I was thinking about those things. I was a little bit down and I didn't know what was coming next. Like I knew I could try to play again next year and I could, but then I'm like, okay, this is like a couple foot injuries. So if I keep playing, I'm playing on, on physical debt that I'm going to have to pay later,
For sure.
With high interest.
Yeah.
So it just got to a point where it's like, I was doing pretty well, but I wasn't making like never have to work again money. And I was like, listen, if that was the case, then I'll thug it out, But if it's like I want to have some foot function, so it was just tough. Like, and I didn't know what to do. Like, didn't really get a lot of support from the team. And when the season ended, I'd been in France for 8 years playing different teams. I had been on this team for like 4 years. So I had a lot of my stuff over there. And I was going to have to do this. I'm like, man, I'm going to have to just pack up and go home like for good, I don't know how I'm going to, I knew I might come home and not come back. I could maybe, but I had to make sure everything was, so I got ready for that, but it was a hard moment. And something told me like, hey, maybe you should fast, because the year before that I had some Muslim teammates, and it's in France. It's like, France has this, it's like a secular place. So they, there's a lot of, so like it even affects sports. So a lot of guys will be trying to fast for Ramadan, and some coaches are like, no, like we don't want you to fast because that's going to affect your game and stuff. And it's funny because, people just play amazing during Ramadan. Like Adama Sanogo on UConn 2 years ago won the most outstanding player Ramadan. Like he was fasting the whole time. And so that year I was like, one of my guys, he was younger and he was feeling pressured by the coach. So he's like, oh man, Charles, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I was like, no, bro, if you believe in that, like you do that. Like, don't worry about what they do. So they don't really know. They knew me on the team, but you're just a basketball player. So they were like, I said, I'm fasting too. Like, oh, we didn't know you were a Muslim. I was like, oh yeah, I'm looking into it, but I just did it to support him. And I know how to cook and stuff. He was a guy I took under my wing. So we'd break the fast at my house. I'd make sure like he was hydrated and stuff, talking about electrolytes. So it was a cool experience. And we were facing relegation. We needed to win 6 games in a row to stay. This kid's like 18. He was already starting to play. We won all 6 games in a row that month.
Wow.
I played the best I've ever played probably on that team. You know, like I'm talking about game winners, like 40-minute games. And it was like, I realized I was really present when I was fasting the whole day. And then I was also I could just tell during the games, like I was unrattled because I'm not going to waste energy on dumb stuff, you know?
Totally.
And I was just kind of like, and I was just surprised at how well I played and how well I played with no food in my body. And I liked it more, you know, and even the practices. And I just felt like I was more myself, like aligned with myself without that food so it was just an interesting experience. So I remember when I was struggling that next year with all that, I was like, man, I need to fast. So I fasted for 5 days before I came back, before my flight. I fasted for 5 days, and it was the longest 5 days. I was rehabbed, so I was in the house. Sometimes I'd go out and get some sun, but it was like, yeah, a lot of stuff came up, and a lot of stuff went away too, and I just was able to have a little experience of being present and not thinking about the team, not thinking about tomorrow, not thinking about after. And I'd never been in that space.
Interesting.
And when you're like an athlete and your career might end or whatever, and you're not thinking about like who's going to sign you and whatever. And it was just weird for me. And I was like, oh, like those, like there's a person outside of the things I'm doing or whatever, an experience outside the things I'm doing, the things I'm worried about, things I shouldn't. And it's like, obviously if I'm okay now and breathing now, like those things really don't matter until I make them matter.
Right.
And I don't know what it is about not having because I noticed like I was living in France too, man. So I don't think you understand. My neighbors downstairs, it's this old couple. They make like she makes traditional French food every day. Like she makes the entree, the whatever, tarte de pomme. Tomorrow she's making this for dessert. And it's like, she would make me 3 times a week. She'd make me meals. And like my landlord, she would bring me like a basket from her garden. One of my good friends on the bottom retail next to me, this dude he had a bakery. I mean, he's a chocolate. He went to school for 12 years. He did 4 years chocolate stuff, 4 years cakes and pastries, and then he did like 2 years where it's like you learn how to like the dairy stuff and learn how to make. He was like so he had his shop down there. So that's what I was dealing with, man. Like apple tart, whatever, cake, chocolates, whatever. And so it was it was a grind for me, you know? But it was awesome to be able to get through that temptation. So food for me was always an escape. I go to practice, it's hard. We lose. I go down to the bakery. I get my stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm cooking. So food was like an enjoyment, how I coped with things, how it was my escape. It was how I made myself feel good. And just not having that for 5 days taught me a lot about myself and even my patterns and how food is for me was probably 25% of it was actually fuel. And so it taught me that I also use food to sustain where I'm at in my life. Like as far as like whatever emotions that I feel, it's like there was a pattern. Like I don't feel good, I eat this. I want to feel great, I go eat this. Like I need, I realized food was like, I'm not gonna say drug, but it was a very strategic part of how I operate. And without that food, I had to operate in a different way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I've always done like just the intermittent fasting. And then like these long fasts is very, very new to me. And so like you and Ryan, you know, you guys kind of got me into the whole like longer day fasting because we were doing like 2-3 days. And then it's been so interesting. It's so interesting how like all of the like BS or nonsense or like your weaknesses or your vices come to the surface in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's been really interesting to experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been good because it's also like just putting a magnifying glass on the areas that I need to like work on and do better at emotionally, physically, mentally. Like it's pretty remarkable how much information you can get from your own body through fasting as your body like really starts to speak to you. And that's been really, really cool for me.
Yeah. No, that I resonate with that. I like it because it makes me not deal with things how, even like my brother, I would see my brother Sunday, and usually it's like he has the kids. It's like, oh, great. Let's go get some food. You know what I mean? And it's like this, like, even that I realized like we didn't, I was fasting, so we didn't go. But the experience was different without food. Because like a lot of times some of our relationships are built around food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's get that was just a little thing that I noticed. Like, with me and him, we don't see each other that much, but we take the kids for ice cream or we meet up and get some pastries at one of these coffee shops. But we couldn't do that. And so we went to this place and played board games with them. Then we went on a walk. And not that you couldn't do those things anyway, but usually there's food around it, but it's like we had just a different experience. Because they're like, he's like, Uncle Charles is fasting. Okay, well, let's do this, let's do that. Like, because we had planned to go somewhere to eat. And it was really cool. It was really cool. The conversation we were having, me and him, because obviously in the state, you're thinking a little bit more. And yeah, it was just been like really good bonding experiences with my brother that we've never had before. Just the last, and I think just maybe where I'm coming in, with where I'm at during that fast, because I'm more and more like introspective. It allows me to, to kind of bring a different energy to that interaction than I usually do, and more presence. And it was cool because I was like, I've never had an experience like that with my brother and my niece and nephews. Like I was like pretty present,
Yeah. That's interesting. It's actually a really cool story just from just fasting, like this connection that it's actually opening up to your family.
Yeah, to everything. Like you're just more aware.
Yeah, totally aware. I think it's kind of like, I kind of connect it to like an ayahuasca diet.
Yeah.
So when you're going to the jungle or you're going to do an ayahuasca retreat, you're usually, I won't say fasting, but you're really like limiting your diet to like it's very minimal. It's fish, it's rice, it's beans, and that's pretty much all you eat while you're down there. And then if you're doing a plant diet, then I mean, it's pretty intense, dieting plants, because it's very little food. It's just enough food just to keep you alive, essentially. Yeah. But what it does do is it puts your body in a very sensitive state. And so as you're dieting these plants and, working with the medicine, it's a lot more impactful on your body because of how sensitive you are and how much work you can get done as far as your traumas or, whatever you're trying to work through. And then the plant messages are a lot stronger as well. And, as I've been doing fasting, like the longer 5-7 day fasts, it's like day 5, day 6, I feel like my body hits this state where I just become so sensitive to like my environment and just like my mind body connection, that it almost is, it's almost like a psychedelic state, like a light psychedelic state, or like a light, almost like a microdose or a museum dose of, a psychedelic. It's interesting how much your energy and your frequency and your vibration elevates and changes in just a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, that's what you said right there is really key. You phrase it the right way. Last time we did that 6-day fast,
Mm-hmm.
I got to the 5th day, and I remember I had a class in Salt Lake, a 6-hour block for the business thing, and I was just interacting with my classmates. It's always a good time, but
Mm-hmm.
I was interacting with my classmates in a different way, and I felt like I literally felt different.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like exactly what you're saying. Like I felt a lot of love and connection to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and to everything. And it's almost like
Yeah.
I was like seeing them as myself, kind of like
Mhm.
not like, just like, yeah, whatever I'm looking at, that could be something that I would do, or I could be, if I was in that situation. So it's like
Right.
whether it's like the judgment of yourself goes away, judgment of situations.
Oh, yeah.
others, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful thing. The reason why I was excited to do this 7-day fast with you again is because there were so many good things from the last fast, but I didn't end the fast right way. It was awesome. Like, we ate a ton of food and stuff, but I could have gone there and be like, hey, no, I'm gonna, but I saw all that food, and
I did the same.
and it's almost like
Yeah.
there was ego about it too. Like, oh, I put in all this work, I deserve this, and I can eat as much as I
100%.
want.
100%.
And I didn't like that. I felt like I cheated.
Same. Yeah, it's like the discipline that it took to make it through those 7 days
Yeah.
was just right out the window.
Right after, that's
When all that steak and everything
Yeah.
hit the table, it was like, yeah, I deserve this, and I'm just gonna gorge.
Yeah.
And I'm totally agree and total alignment with what you're saying.
Yeah. So I had to ask myself, like, so wait, what was the fast about? 'Cause
Uh-huh.
if you're not like integrating,
Mm-hmm.
and then I realized that I didn't want to integrate. That's probably why I did it, because I wanted to. So I told my brother's a personal trainer, and he's like, I said, bro, I figured something out. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, some guy yesterday was saying he does 75 hard. He's like, yeah, you'd probably like this concept. I was like, no, I think that's BS. He's like, what? The guy was like surprised, because he thought like an athlete would love the discipline that he's. I was like, yeah, I think that's BS. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I like one hard.
Uh-huh.
Like, just do your best today. And then if tomorrow something else happens, that's fine. Then the next day, do the one hard again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said, you guys look at athletes and you think like, I was like, I always laugh. I see the YouTube shorts. People are like, oh, yeah, one thing about athletes, man, whatever they put their mind to, they do. They're just disciplined. And I always laugh, because these are always people that are not athletes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you do something decent and they're like, oh man, that's because you're an athlete, man. Like athletes, if they kill it in this, I'm like, yeah, sure. But what they don't understand is like, you are what you do. And that's why athletes are actually not disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it looks like discipline on the outside. We know you're only an athlete if you move that day. If you're not, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you move the next day, then you are again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I think on the outside, people are like, oh man, if I can do this for 3 months and I can look like that, then I'll be an athlete. No. As soon as you do the stuff, you're an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have it in any moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get to that.
Right.
That's how you don't lose that. Because it's like, if you don't, you're not that. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So it's like, some days I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But the next day I make sure, because I want to be that, I go back and move,
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like yesterday was just 20 minutes in the sun and just like at home. So the reason why I say that is because for me, I realize like the fast, all those things you learn in the fast, if that's what you want to be, then you have to do that, and you can do that in. You could live that way, because
Right.
a fast, you see, you don't need as much food as you think you do. You can go 4 days and you're not really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, can you live with that fast integrated where you eat when you're hungry, you eat when you're, and I wasn't willing to do that.
Same.
And that's why I gorged, and
Same.
because I'm like, oh, I have an excuse now and that's why I was telling my brother, I was like, hey, be careful with what your clients say, because like they're telling you what it is. And what I realized about a lot of people, and even myself in a lot of ways, we want to do things that help us continue to do what we've done. You know, that's why sometimes people don't lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's like, we want a little bit of progress that gives us the kind of the excuse to do what we've always done.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my story in my life a lot of times, you know, because you have this breakthrough, and then it's like, oh, great. Okay, man, I had this breakthrough. So it's like, then it's like this, it's interesting, because I think our habits, our central nervous system, like we're more wired into a certain state in existence that we've created consciously or not than we think.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
And our body and mind is trying to like do that as much as possible, because it's hard to rewire something new.
Right.
But your subconscious it's already wired that stuff from before.
Right.
So it's like, sometimes it's like you get that novelty and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. Yeah. But you're going to go, if you're not conscious about it and integrate it, you're going to go back to, because you're going back to eating the same foods, doing the same things. So this fast was like, okay, I want to do it this time, but then I want to see if I can integrate this even when we're done, and integrate the lessons, like eat when you're hungry,
right?
Hydrate,
right?
Breathe, be present,
right? Yeah. I'm totally aligned with everything you just said.
Because you know what the truth is? I have to push myself, because that guy has to be authentic. He's got to be present. He's got to be clear. He can't just like have a sad day and like go do this, or he can't just do a 2-hour workout to crush himself so he can say, okay, now I get to eat whatever. Like he can't do all those things. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm willing to. I don't think I was willing to give up those things before. So I got to do this fast and integrated, because I want to experience life as a different person, because I've experienced it as this person.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm realizing, we'll get into it later, but it's like, I'm realizing now that there's a different level of how you can live.
Yes.
The life, so that's really interesting to me. And fasting allows me to, it forces me into that
absolutely
state.
Yeah. I'm starting to realize that's probably one of the biggest levers you can pull to like push or force or motivate you to go into that state.
Yeah.
Or, take your existence in this vehicle to another level.
Yes.
And I kind of had some like hard truths, or hard truths, or just awareness. I think that's really what it is, coming off of the last fast and like the gorging. And then I started to realize how much I would eat because I was bored and like snacking. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm eating because I'm bored.
Yeah.
Or just I'm eating because something's on the counter. And it's this last one has really put a magnifying glass on how not disciplined I am in like that area of my existence.
Yeah. But here's the question. Do you want to be that disciplined?
Yes, especially around food. And, I'm not, my diet is very like pretty small, very minimal.
it's
It's
good.
like as far as what I eat, but you know, the guilty gains bar, you know, like
that needs to stay.
you know, like I'm crushing those things, and I'm probably eating them probably too late in the night. You know, I probably need to like switch that into like, you know, a little bit
it's
earlier, but
7 grams of sugar, 10 grams of protein for half a bar. It's pretty.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm kind of just entering this state where I just want to be way more disciplined and fine tune my diet and what I'm ingesting.
Yeah.
Because I think there's some, I think there's some like big wins and some like big answers for me on that other side.
Yeah. The key is, can we get there where we don't call it discipline? You know, it's just how we're so aligned that we're naturally understand our body, that we're naturally flowing in that space, you know. And that's why we have to fast, because I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, if I'm eating only when I'm hungry and I'm eating good foods when I need them, we wouldn't have to fast. You know, you go a day without food, and the day before we started this fast, I had some soup, and then I had like a piece of bread and then like a side salad at Ginger's Cafe, and some tea. And I was like, whoa, I'm not even like, I'm good for the rest of the day. You know, and then it was cool because this is day 3. It hasn't been that bad. Usually the last time I was like,
day 3 and 4, I was like, dude, nobody talked to me. Just trying to hold my shit together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So it's interesting, but I agree with you. I think it could be really cool to get to that level of how you're operating every day with that type of understanding of the body.
Yeah. I'm realizing, how little food me actually need. And like during the fast, it's like I only get hungry once throughout probably 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's like later in the day, right around like 2-3 o'clock. I'm like, oh man, I need something. That's where, you know, I drink bone broth, and it's like that hunger completely goes away. So yeah, just looking to like, just being aware of how this fast is going now, and like the things that are like, I'm just learning about, my body and the timeline and schedule of like, you know, food. Because I think I'm going to take that into the integration part and like probably like completely change up like my eating schedule. Because our culture is like, you eat breakfast, it's noon, you eat lunch, it's 5:30, you're eating dinner. And I think I'm going to just, completely change that. I don't know how that'll work with my kids in Talon, but it's something I want to like try to integrate after this fast.
Yeah. And by the way, I think you deserve a lot of credit too, because you are running a business, you have these things going on, and then you have kids and a wife. So it's like, you know, for anybody watching this, I don't have kids, I don't have a wife. So it's like, I can make those decisions and they're just my decisions. I'm not cooking food for people and seeing that temptation. I'm not like smelling food. I'm not taking my son to Mesita Market. he's eating grass-fed burger and I'm just watching there. So that's impressive. And that's another level too. When you can do that with, you know, and on a small level, like my business partner, we were wrapping chocolate bars. He was eating them. And so I thought about you yesterday, because I was like, you know what? I love those bars, but it's like, I'm good right now. And I'm like, but seeing another person eating that, I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Chase is like, he's in the trenches, because
dude,
you know, the kids, you're making nourishing food for the kids. I'm sure it's tempting. It smells good. So you're on another level, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I thought about you yesterday as well, where I got home and my mother-in-law's in town, and she can just cut up in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like tonight she's making like Thai coconut shrimp over rice with like,
wow. Yeah, see, that's a whole different.
It's like it's so rough.
Freeze it.
It's so rough, dude.
Freeze it for next week.
Yeah, so last night they made some just something like teriyaki something with fried cauliflower with tallow, and it's just like I got into my garage and I could smell it, and then I opened the door to the house and I was like, dude, I think I'm gonna break my fast. Like this smells way too good. There's no way I'm making it. And I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm not doing it. And I was like, yeah, because if I break this and I have to tell Charles that I'm not disciplined enough.
Well, you know, I love the accountability too, because you didn't say like, hey, let's fast. You're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this fast. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I couldn't do it. I was trying to do it on my own, but I didn't even want to. Like, you know, like I think now there's a precedent set. Like last one, you were sending me those messages, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, isn't it? You can share your experience and you learn from what that. And then the cool stuff is some of the stuff you were saying. So that's why relationships and friendships are so cool, because you're sharing similar experiences. You're like, oh, that's what he's feeling too. But then in that experience, you're having a unique one, and then that person gives you a different perspective, and you're like, oh wow, that's crazy. He had that experience. And so it's just a really cool way to do anything with friends, you know, good friends. But so that part I've liked, but also it's a little bit, you know, we're like, yeah, we're not like, I think what's helped me is knowing like too, if like, you know, if I break it, it's not the end of the world. So it's like, hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, no, I want to continue, you know, but I've tried on my own, like, all right, 5-day fast. And like, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, totally.
It feels like too much pressure.
Yeah.
You got, but it's like, it teaches you got to take it one day at a time, or Seth would say one breath at a time, but you got to take it one day at a time, and no judgment. Right. So just what do you want to experience? If you want to eat, go ahead and eat. Yeah. But I'm like, oh no, I don't really want to eat. Yeah. I just wanted an escape.
Yeah, totally. It's weird how it starts to become kind of addicting.
Yeah.
In a sense, where it's like you hit that level of just like clarity, how your body's feeling, just everything about you is changing. And it's like, man, I don't want to disrupt that state.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I put anything into this vehicle, then my body's going to burn through it and my state's going to change.
Well, isn't that interesting?
It's so noticeable too.
Like, you remember when we broke the fast at with that meal? It was I remember how great the first bite of food tasted, but as it was going into my body, I realized like there was like a complete, and I remember I was like, oh shit. Like I was like, hey, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was good still, but I was like, and I just got back into my
yeah, same.
You know, so it was that's really interesting. You know, my business partner, he's LDS, and he was talking about, he's like, man, you're fasting. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know how you do that. He's like, sometimes I try to fast for the, you know, first of the month type thing. He's like, and he said something. He was like, yeah, I think it's good for you because, you know, in this, it says, in every culture and religion talks about this. And he was like, yeah, in the scriptures, or, you know, from what it says, like, you know, it's when the mind has control over the body. The body's not like, I was like, oh, they said that too, you know? And it's like, everyone knows that. Right. And it's like, that's been, so it's just really interesting. And I'm realizing, does food change the level of consciousness, awareness, you know?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And doing my deep dives it started with, I experienced metaphysics, and then it got into, because of my breath coach, it got into like oxygen and breath, and then like elements and all that stuff, and then it's like, you know, the gases on like, and electrons and what happens when things react with oxygen, they oxidize, and how kind of like, okay, how are we existing, and then how are we breaking down?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that, you know, they say food is information, but food gives you, like, you need certain raw materials that your body's going to convert to keep this body going or to use it as fuel.
Mm-hmm.
You need energy.
Mm-hmm.
But then also there's that whatever you bring in, it has an effect not only in what you get out of it, but also different toxins have an effect. The digestion, how much is it going to take to digest? What are your activities for that day? You know, like, where did you get the food? Because like, if it gives you energy, but then, you know, it gives you some toxins,
right?
And it's like there's that trade-off, and
right.
And then, you know, there's also cellular damage that can occur from oxidative stress. So it's like you want to put things in your diet that also help you combat that oxidative stress when those cells lose electrons. And it's like, that's what, and I was looking up like antioxidants, and it's like, you know, they help those like, they donate electrons to those cells that have lost electrons.
Mm-hmm.
That's what antioxidants do.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking up how those cells lose electrons and and it was just mind boggling. And it's like, I use food like, yeah, food's fuel. I need food. I'm going to help out. And I'm going to work out, and I'm going to eat healthy because it's the right thing. But there's a level beyond that.
Oh,
where you can literally customize your diet to give you the most efficient way to go about your business. Not the healthiest, or not healthy, but not healthy in the sense of like you just put the healthiest foods on the plate, but I'm talking about like the most efficient way. Like, I want carbs. Okay, great. But if I have these beets, you know, not only do I get carbohydrates, I also get fiber. I get nitric oxide. I get nitrates that convert to nitric oxide, so good for the blood.
Right.
I get iron. It's like, and so I'm like, man, I want to do this fast, but then I also want to come out of it and just to give myself the best chance, you know,
right,
at being the most efficient in life and energy, and
right,
you know, yeah. So
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying as far as like really like fine tuning the food, because something that I've been thinking about during this one is, you know, what the diet is going to be after this. Yeah. And I've arrived at meat and microgreens, and like that's where I'm gonna start. Okay. Because the best times I've ever felt in my life were when I was I used to grow microgreens and juice them, and just that was like my snack. Like, are you serious? Yeah, I went
big time.
Yeah, I went really crazy. I went to
so they have more nutrition.
Yeah. What really changed my view on microgreens, I was during the documentary I was doing with Lamar. I was spending a lot of time in Florida, and one of the guys that was part of the documentary had a really nice connection, or a good connection, to this health center down in Florida called Hippocrates Health Institute. And it's like $10,000 a month to like go down there, live, and there's like doctors on staff, like meditation, hyperbaric. What's that?
$10,000 a month.
Yeah,
sounds pretty affordable for what you're getting.
Yeah, definitely. But the food is all microgreens. That's it. That's all they feed you. And
for a month.
Yep.
Or however long.
Yeah, microgreens. There's like some oils, but like very few. But yeah, I mean, just all the different kinds of microgreens. And when I was down there, I was like looking at these people, and I'm like, man, you guys look really healthy and vibrant. Like, it's pretty pretty wild how like healthy you guys look, and the staff all looked really healthy. Not like plastic surgery or Botox filler healthy, but like they just had a different aura and glow and look about them. And that's, I mean, that entire like Hippocrates camp is just all about microgreens. Like it's kind of a cult, but I've talked to a lot of people that have gone there and treated obesity, cancer, like real debilitating health issues down there. So I was down there and I had lunch there a couple days in a row, and I couldn't believe how good I felt after.
You were eating just the greens?
Just microgreens, yeah. I was like, dude, this is crazy. I'm just eating the plate full of microgreens, and just like, my energy level was very noticeable.
Okay.
And my clarity and how good it just, everything, I was vibing on a higher level for sure.
Wow.
And then carnivore diet is when I did that for a year. And
a year?
Yep.
How was that?
It was awesome. Yeah. First month was really hard. 'Cause 3 weeks in you get like that gut reset where you just, the diarrhea is like, something is wrong with me. I should go to the hospital. Like something's not right here. Real bad. And then like after the first month, it just became part of the routine. And month 3 or 4, I went through almost like this spiritual experience where I felt so good and so clear, and my energy was at such a high level that I almost started to panic a little bit, because I'm like, I feel too good. Like I hit this other layer or this other level of frequency from that diet that I haven't experienced before. And just, I was having these downloads in my body. I was like, yeah.
See, that's perplexing to me.
Yeah.
So you were eating just like every day, just meat?
Yeah, meat, butter, eggs, very, very little fruit the first 5 months.
Okay.
And then after that, I started integrating fruit a little bit more. But
we have to talk about that, because there's all the, like, I hear this, and then I hear, you see people talking about, hey, I've been eating watermelon for 3 months. You see people, I fasted for 21 days, and some people do. And I'm realizing, like, that's a cool thing about life. Or some people fast for 40 days and they don't die.
Right.
And it's like, nobody really knows. That's why it's like, it's cool to like, and I realize how many things we do, diets and stuff that someone else has said, and but it's like, it's cool to, in a safe way, to use your body and learn while you're here, learn what works for you.
Right.
And
right.
That's what's cool about these fasts and stuff. And my only question is with a lot of the diets, because you say that about the carnivore diet, other people say this about another diet. And when I was writing that book, I had gone on a lot of different diets, and I realized I felt good on all of them. I did vegetarian. I did raw fruitarian for like 2 months.
Dang.
When I was playing in the spring. I was in Spain, but I had access to like a lot of good. I go to the organic store and buy like mangoes by the. And what I learned was like, the person who, when you go on a diet, you're probably coming from some bullshit, right?
100%.
So the person's gonna go raw vegan. They're gonna all of a sudden start eating pineapple, mangoes. They're gonna start eating greens. They're gonna start, walnuts and all that stuff. So there's gonna be two things. They're gonna stop eating bullshit, and then they're gonna eat healthy foods that they were never getting, that in this case has a lot of fiber, a lot of nutrients and stuff like that. And then that was happening to me. Then I was like, okay, let me go, okay, I'm going to try. And I don't know if it wasn't a carnivore, but I was trying like keto type.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was like, so I did that. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, beef. Oh no, grass-fed beef. Oh, hey, maybe I could just get lamb and I'm going to eat wild-caught snacks. It's like, because in that diet, it's all about like, hey, you're eating animal foods and high-fat foods, but it's like, you're eating like the best of those animal foods. You're getting like grass-fed, wild-caught. You're getting, and then obviously it's like, I felt better than the stuff I was eating. And so diets are very interesting because you always stop eating the crap. And then you always, depending on whatever diet it is, I feel like most people who kind of do it fully locked in, they not only eat if you're doing a vegetarian diet, you're not only eating plant-based, but you're eating like the best of stuff, like going to the farmer's market. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure when you're doing your stuff, where you eating like pasture,
the beef, from the local butcher,
the eggs were good. Yep. You're getting real butter, so it's like, how much of that experience is like. And then I realized, like, I was living in this. And so in the book, I was like, what if you just did the best of all those? Because like, what seemed like when I was living in Italy during the pandemic. They're going to you're going to whatever, the local guy to get milk from this small town, his thing. Then they're going to get greens from here. Then they're putting that all in the meal, or they get wheat from the town over. Then they make pizza with that guy's buffalo mozzarella, and then with the tomatoes in their garden. And I'm like, oh, well, like, that's like the best of everything.
Yep.
So but then, it's like, how do we integrate all that to where we can just naturally eat intuitively?
Yeah. I think we're in the situation in America where it's like the entire country is being rattled awake to how this like nightmare we're in, where our food isn't really food. And it's like, what do we do? Where do we turn to? And we're turning back to that type of community of people that, I guess, it's going to take some time to get there, but that's definitely where things are headed in the U.S.
You're right. And it's bigger than food, though. I don't think that food has also been integrated with certain experiences. Like, just think about it. Like, I mean, Friday night is, growing up, it's like pizza night. Like there's just certain things that are associated with, like when you're on the road, basketball, it's like, okay, big game, you won the game, what do? You're gonna get a burger. And it's like, I think we just kind of like created like a lifestyle with it that are we gonna be willing to
divorce from?
Because again, it's not just food, it's how we cope, it's how we, sometimes traveling with the college team or pro team, it's like we're still in that mode, and it's like, are you willing to like? And I as an athlete, it's funny, man, like we lose a game or something on the road or whatever, you come home, it's late that next day, I wasn't eating my salad and walnuts and sardines, the amazing salads that I make when I'm down,
Right.
So it's like, I think the day where we can go through a hard day, and instead of being, let me go get this, which I still do sometimes, the day where we can like, hey, I still need the right energy. It's a hard day, but I'm going to eat, my beets or whatever. I think that's the day where we can really give up all those things. I think we're aware of it, that we can't give them up until we change our lifestyle and how we want to live.
Yeah. The integration. Integration is everything. Well, just to wrap this up, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Really getting into the conversation of fasting and food, and just being my accountability partner and this whole, it's kind of cool how it's just, it's happened so organically.
Yeah.
Where it's just, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this. Cool. I'll do it with you, and share our experience and just things that, you know, we kind of go through during the fast. It's been awesome to just, have you as a homie.
Yeah.
It's willing to do the work and fasting with me. It's awesome.
No, I appreciate you. Feel the same way. And, you know, for anybody watching, I would just say, like we talked about, just trying to do the little things. Mm-hmm. One thing I've realized too is like, we can get on our phones and look at, you know, what's we should do and what people are eating. But I've realized there's way more people that are where you are and also where you're trying to go, close to you. Mm-hmm. And I've just noticed that, like, and for me, I feel like a responsibility to like support those people that are doing whatever I'm into, trying to get into. If they're doing that locally, like the farmers markets to me are just amazing.
Oh, so like fun.
We have to support those people that
mm-hmm.
are out there growing mushrooms and greens and like, and it's just great people. And it's like, that's our last line of hope. Mm-hmm. If we don't support each other, mm-hmm. it's a wrap.
Yep.
So it's like, people need to understand too. It's like you're buying things from flown in, whether they're good or not, but it's like, we can support that person right here. Mm-hmm. And then we can, you know, we can support our own community, the people that we know. And it's good to buy other things too, but it's like, there are things like right in your backyard. And my favorite thing, it's going to come up in the summer, going to the farmer's market and getting these greens, these tomatoes, and you go home and it tastes like, you know, I'm like, it tastes like I'm back in Europe. Mm-hmm. You know? So mm-hmm. I would challenge people to get out there and buy locally at the farmers markets and go home and cook.
Yep.
You know? And it's a great experience.
Yep. Yeah. Like you were saying, you're getting the best from those individual people.
Yeah.
Putting that together, it's like you're eating the best.
Yeah.
You're eating the best. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks for tuning into the episode. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next one.